Hello everyone, this is Jen from Frugal Update, and I am starting a new little segment that I hope to do regularly, and I thought I would call it the Frugal Update, kind of a play on words between Frugal Update and the Saturday Night Live Weekend Update, although honestly I'm probably not going to be quite as amusing as they are. But I thought I'd just take a couple minutes every week and get in front of the camera, not do a lot of editing. One of the reasons that I haven't been doing much video is because it really takes a long time to edit video, and I'm a little picky. I don't know if it's the years I spent doing theater or what, but I like to have my cuts where they're going, and I like to have everything flow and music, and it just really, it takes a long time. So maybe someday I'll get an intern or something who can help me do the video, but right now I think this is more my speed for a little bit. So I just thought I'd share a few frugal things I've done lately, and sort of some of the things I've been thinking about. So I've done a little shopping lately. I really was in desperate need of some sweaters because we keep the house pretty cool during the day. I'm the only one here during the day, and I'm working, and I don't use a lot of the house, and the house is all one zone for heating. So we keep the temperature at about 62, and I tend to get cold, so I do like to wear sweaters. So I went to the local thrift store, and I bought about 6 sweaters for myself, and I paid about $7 or $8 each, so this is one of my new sweaters. And I'm very happy with it. So I kind of feel like I have a rejuvenated wardrobe. Another thing I did is I did post the other day about the hurricane lamps that I made for the mantle. And I wanted to show you one because I really think they didn't quite show up as beautiful as they could have on the video post. And I don't know how they're going to, on the written post, but I don't know how they're going to show up in the video. But I was so pleased with how they came out. And really, all this is a vase and a candlestick glued together. Very, very easy. And I think I could probably, tie some ribbon around it or do some other stuff to dress it up. Somebody else also suggested that you could use colored vases and candlesticks if you could find them. So that's kind of a cool idea. Another thing I did was, today was my baking day. I got kind of behind, and actually I've had to spend the last couple of days coming up with breadless lunchbox meals for the kids. So they got cracker sandwiches one day, they got a bowl, they got soup in their thermoses, and then today they got tortillas, which is easy for Princess because she likes bean tortillas with cheese, but Buddy does not like beans very much. So I did peanut butter and jelly, like rolled up and cut into little tiny slices for him. So hopefully they'll like that. But I was about done with the no bread thing, so I did bake bread. For those of you who aren't familiar, I do use a bread machine, but I really just use it as a kneading machine. And what I do is when I'm measuring out the bread ingredients into the bread pan, I keep a bowl and a measuring cup on the counter, and I measure out the second loaf worth of stuff into those. So I put all the dry stuff into a bowl and then all the wet stuff into a measuring cup. So after the first loaf is done kneading and the bread cycle goes off after an hour and 20 minutes, I put that into a greased bread loaf pan and put it in the oven to rise, and then I just dump the dry and the wet first and then the dry into my bread pan. Add the yeast, because I don't like to leave that out on the counter. I think it kind of affects the rise a little bit. And stick it in the bread pan. So the second loaf only takes me about a minute to throw together, and then it just works for another hour and 20 minutes. And then by the time the first loaf is done rising and it's time to turn on the oven, the second one's coming out and getting ready to rise, and I do that on the top of the stove with a cloth over it usually. So I made 2 loaves, and it may not be the most beautiful bread. I have this tendency to split on the side right here, and I'm not sure why. And to try to alleviate that a little, I've started splitting it on the top with a knife after it's risen, so that maybe it'll split there instead of on the side. But I like to use this. I have 1 stoneware, and then I have 1 metal pan. So I do 2 loaves of bread once a week usually, and I do have, my mother went out and bought me some of those green produce bags, and my husband liked them, and so he saw the bread ones, and he picked those up for me for my bread. So I do use those Debbie whatever green bags, which I normally wouldn't have, the bread version. And I put them in there, and we'll go through this in a week, because the kids like the homemade bread. Anyway, that's kind of what's been going on in my world, and I will see you all next week. Bye.